What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of Road to Nats. We're jumping into some gameplay with basically the same list we've been running. I did change Gecko Moria unblockable event ratios to 3-3 instead of 4-2. But if you want a more in-depth breakdown on the deck list, you can go and check out our deck list video that we posted. 3 games today, mostly comprising of this deck list, but game 1 we actually have a slightly different deck list to check out. The other day while I was streaming, one of our viewers, the Alchemist, sent over this Straw Hat variant because he thinks it's better than Thriller Bark. So we're gonna give it a shot, see how we feel about it for game 1. I'm kind of excited to check out Flaming Dragon King. This card seems very interesting. Let's get into it. Jumping into game 1, we are running into Emu. We get to choose to go second here, which is ideal. We get the perfect hand. Very solid. 2-cost event. Sanji on 4, Robin on 6. Here we obviously opt to leave the 2 Dawn open. First, we don't have a 1 Dawn play. We're not running Lilith in this variant. But also, as long as Emu swings 5 or 8, anywhere in between, we're dropping the event and we're reordering our life. I have noticed in some of our games, emus don't always swing. Sometimes they will just starve you for a handful of turns, anticipating the event, but it does look like emu will swing here. We're gonna activate the event, boost our leader, and then we're gonna take a second here. We're really just trying to reorganize the life as best we can. I try to put playable characters to the top, and then if Usopp is in the life, I try to stack it towards the bottom so we can maybe set up for a lethal turn. So we decide to move Jinbei up to the front, like I said, playable character. He'll come out the next time they swing into us. But we're really trying to decide on the Flaming Dragon King since the trigger lets us take a life and put a card back. We put it second to bottom, hoping that we can farm a 0-cost life to put into the life by the time we trigger it. We just swing a hefty little 5 there, and now we're going to play the Sanji out and search for another Straw Hat. Kind of an unfortunate search. We don't whiff, but we do bottom deck 2 of our Eustace kids, which is unfortunate. That card is great for this matchup. Standard 5 Dawn play, 4 Dawn play for them. They rest stage, play out Saturn, search out Marcus Mars. Now obviously we're going to take this one. We're playing the Jinbei. We knew he was coming. We dropped the Robin first, burn their life, hit the Never Existed. That's huge. 5 here, 5 here, and then we're just going to do 5 with lead. We're kind of just poking a little bit, trying to take cards out of hand. If they take the hit, they take the hit. So in that turn, we actually pushed 2 Never Existed out of playability, unless they recycle them back. So they're swinging into the Jinbei. I kind of anticipated this, and I'm going to focus not heavily, but I'm trying to make sure that the Jinbei doesn't die. I know that they're going to play out the Marcus Mars that they searched, and they're going to pop the Sanji. This is kind of a reason that I like the Jinbei more than Satori, and I like him more than Frankie. While both of those cards are good in their own way, Jinbei is completely free to play from trigger off of life, because you're Monkey D. Luffy, and he's a 6-cost. So while you're never hard playing him, the idea is to play him off of life. And then he can't be removed as easy as those other cards that I mentioned before. Just as expected, Marcus Mars pops the Sanji because he's a 4-cost, and then they just play another blocker down. Unfortunately, we drew into the Nami. Not going to do anything. They're at 10 trash. Kind of anticipated that. We're going to swing a 6. Here, I'm trying to eat through their last blocker. And then we just heal off the Kuma, though I do think I should have pitched the Nami. I think in the moment I was just holding counter. I don't care too much about letting the Robin go here. I'm gonna maybe try saving the Frankie, depending on how much they dedicate to it. So for a 6, we'll just go... Sorry, I said Frankie, I meant Jinbei. We can't counter there, we do let that one go, but on this following turn, we're really just trying to push them down to 0. We have the the unblockable event already, so when they set up their 5 Elder turn and double blocker, we are able to swing through it. We also, if you remember our life, we set it up to make sure we would get another unblockable event. Trigger blocker Robin, always love that card. And then we see our follow-up unblockable, so we are just going to attach everything and decide to swing here. I assume they have a good amount of counter. They left 3 Dawn up, so this was more of a turn to bait cards out of their hand versus actually trying to push for lethal, since I'm not fearing death here, and I know we're about to go to 9k. I did have hopes of us finding the 0-cost event by this point. We did not see it. They play another blocker. We're not worried about it. We're 9k because of the Usopp. We're just going to swing 18k. GG's. So overall, this game was a real good test of the 2-cost event. I don't know if I'm sold on it though. We're gonna jump back to our regular Thriller Bark list for the next 2 games. Let's get into those. Alright guys, for game 2 it's looking like we're running into some Mihawk. Up to keep our opening hand, we see Nico, Robin, Kuma, and a 4-cost play, so we're pretty happy. I'm a little thrown off here. I don't think I've ever seen a Mihawk player drop down the 2-cost killer. This is certainly a first for me. Opponent opting not to attack is also strange. I don't feel like I've seen many Mihawks take the starve route. Here we're kind of trying to decide what 4-cost we want to play. There's merit in dropping down the Robin and just getting a blocker out there, but we decide to play the Perona and freeze their Perona. Kind of realizing that they are playing a very supernova heavy build, we just decide to trash the Robin, swing into their Searcher. They do get a draw off of the killer blocker. We swing into their searcher again. I don't know why it's taking them so long, as if they're contemplating giving us 5k counter there, but it is what it is. They choose to play out the Shanks, they rest the Robin. We let it pass. This is kind of a pivotal moment every Mihawk game that I play. They drop Mihawk on 7, or Shanks on 7. Our option is usually let it live or swing 13. Generally, I always do the swing 13 unless they have a Dawn active. If they have the Dawn active, it's a lot riskier. But Shanks is a very important card to remove off of the board. It's super annoying to play against. It gives everything minus 1k on your turn, which, as you can see with the Perona, it's not able to swing right now, but it also is able to rest a 7,000 power or less character, I believe, when it's rested. So that's by Mihawk leader effect, or if it attacks. So I try to get it off of the board as much as, like, as quickly as possible, as soon as it's played. Hopefully we get it. Opponent decides to let it go, which I do kind of understand. It would have been 3 cards out of their hand. Maybe they don't have the counter for that. They do drop the Mihawk here, rest it with leader, freezes our Perona. We don't really care. Here we're just gonna we're keeping the Perona on field, and then we're just developing another body. We play the kid. I do expect that they're gonna swing our freeze it with the Mihawk this turn. So at this point, I'm basically counting 8-cost kid as a dead card. When I tell you this play shocked me more than anything, completely, like, not optimal, I would have swung life and froze the kid. The Perona is just a neutral swing. At this point, I should have realized maybe they don't have a lot of counter in hand. We do save it. And they do another 10. We unfortunately don't have a 2k, but we will give them 2 1ks. We'll swing a 9 here. We're trying to just push them down to 1 life so we can drop a Bonnie. I don't think it would have mattered, but I think I would have, in hindsight, preferred to swing a 6 there, just so they would have had to give us a 2k counter or maybe an event. We just save the kid again, pretty standard. They freeze the kid, unfortunately. We're not at a fear of them going for lethal right now, but it is annoying that we don't have many swings to push for lethal ourselves. We get a Jinbei off the top. We're gonna just try pushing as many attacks here as we can. So this is either their life or a counter, so we got the 1 card out of their hand. We're gonna swing 7, they have to take it. And then I'm gonna try going for lethal here. They, crazy enough, they got 1 billion fold off of life. We pass, cycle out. We do draw into the unblockable in case they draw a blocker. I don't think that would matter that much. They pretty much have to push for lethal here, but I think their math is a little strange. And at this point, they have 4 swings, we have 4 life. We can just take all of them. And that's the game. We will move into... Here guys, moving into game 3, it looks like we're going to be playing off against Boa. First hand, not very good, gonna mulligan. Thankfully we see the Lilith. Search out a 2K. Not a lot of good options there, but at least it's a blocker. Opponent dropping down the Sengoku, searching out the Kuma. Pretty standard. Swing 5 lead. Then I think we kind of have to decide here if we want to go super aggressive into the opponent or if we want to get more searches in early. I assume they're going to take this. They usually do. Boa players get kind of greedy with their life. Then we do decide to go aggressive. That's kind of the play style that I push with Luffy into Boa. I'm not really worried about them getting bodies off of life. I'm more worried about putting them into that kind of 0 or 1 range when I'm able to drop my Bonnies. So really kind of just following that mindset. We're pushing 6 and then we're establishing a body. Most likely we're going to establish the Perona. It helps us push for game later and it stuns one of their characters. Both of the characters kind of do the same thing, so I'm not really worried about it. They're going to get value either way, but at least one of them can't attack. Yep, there's that Kuma that they searched out earlier. Trashing off a 9-cost Boa, that's good to see. So here I'm assuming probably a 6 and an 8. Or, sorry, a 6 and a 7. We're gonna burn their life with the Nico Robin, and then we're just gonna push a couple swings. I believe we do 2 5s. We're really just trying to get cards out of hand, and then we're gonna search with the Lilith. Kind of digging, hoping to find a Bonnie. We don't see one. Double checking our trash, seeing if we have Thriller Bark characters in there or not. Nothing so far, but we do have the Hog back, so I feel we'll probably give that pretty early for counter if we can. Not really consciously making the decision for the hogback, mostly doing it just because it's a 5k body, but saving the Sindri for a potential turn in the future doesn't feel like the worst thing in the world. I'm anticipating not that. I was not anticipating them swinging 12 into life. I was more expecting them to play another 4-cost blocker there. Here we're just gonna swing mediocre numbers. This is really, I'm just trying to pressure some cards out of hand. The main goal is gonna be to play Akuma. then we actually end up playing the Sindri that we saved the previous turn. It seems like they're walling up a little bit. They have the one blocker in place. We can't push for 0 life with just the one unblockable event at the moment. No, we could go unblockable, put them down to 0, but then we still have to play through the blockers on the following turn or that turn, potentially. It's really unfortunate. We're just not seeing the Bonnie at this point in the game. Speak of the devil, we found a Bonnie. We'll just grab a little bit of counter there instead of grabbing a second Bonnie. We'll counter out of this one. We're at 2 life. I feel a little vulnerable at the moment. I don't love being at 2 life with this leader. I know you don't get the leader effect until you're at 2 life, but I think the bigger aspect of the leader is that you're 6 life versus being able to draw and trash a card. Them having 2 blockers up right now, I'm kind of just swinging stuff out to see if they'll put themselves to 0 before blocking. They don't. I think they're aware that we have the unblockable event. So we're just gonna keep swinging pretty pathetic stuff at the moment. Trying to swing underneath that 6k as well so they can't block it be KO'd and then they pop one of our lives. That, to me, was weird. They could have just free blocked, but I don't know. Maybe they anticipated me swinging the Sindri, but even if I did swing the Sindri, that would have put them in a better position. Opponent's just rolling right now. Triple Boa, very, very strong. At this point, if they play Akuma, I don't think we win this game. But the second they swing that 7, I feel super confident. Yeah, that's just a quick block there. And here we go unblockable for 14k. They can only get a 10. Honestly, that tends to be how Boa games run down, in my opinion. They can roll you. They can see multiple 9 costs. They can see multiple blockers. But I do think Luffy is pretty favored in the matchup. So overall, I do really understand why people like the Straw Hat build of this deck. Sanji being able to find most of the cards that you play, being able to search out the unblockable event, that's really cool. The Flaming Dragon King seemed like a really neat card when we got to use it on curve. We really wanted to only activate it on 2 Dawn when our opponent was in their 3 Dawn turn. And if they stalled us out or they just chose not to swing, it ended up being a dead card in hand. But I do like it a lot. Rearranging your life is nifty as fuck. Knowing what you're going to be able to play out, stacking it so you can get a Sanji or a Jinbei or a Kikanojo, or even lining up Usopp so you can go for lethal. It is very helpful knowledge, but I don't think it fits my playstyle at the moment. I'm a little bit more aggressive with my build. I like to have a little bit more oomph to the bodies that I play out, or I guess more of a chance to play out different bodies. So I do think I'm going to continue playing the Thriller Bark variant of the deck going forward. Pretty happy with this build right now, but I'm always testing and looking to see if there are other cards that I should slot in, or even just fix the ratios a little bit. I am pretty happy with Unblockable Event at 3 though. While I don't necessarily need it 3 times every game, I do need to see it more, and we don't have a way to search it. But that's going to wrap up the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like, comment, maybe subscribe, and think about joining a Twitch stream sometime. But I will see you guys later. Have a good one.